Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Thank you for joining me. If you're new to the channel, then you may wish to pop back and watch my previous videos just so you know what we're talking about. But if you've already done that, then let's get started. So if you've watched my video, What is Soul Plan? Then you'll remember that I mentioned Soul Plan came from the Sefer Yetzirah. And the Sefer Yetzirah asserts a creation theory that all of life came from three mother letters. And those mother letters are Mem, Shin, and Aleph. And then from those mother letters came 7 double letters, and these are the polarity letters. So in this video today, we're going to be focusing on the polarities. There are 7, as I mentioned, and they are spread across the 22 energies from Soul Plan. And I wanted to make a separate video for this because there's quite a lot of information to do with each of the polarities. And some people will have 2, 3, 4, or 5, maybe even all 7 polarities in their birth chart or in their overlay chart. And so it's quite useful just to have them all together so you can come back and watch this whenever you would like. These 7 polarities are wisdom to folly, wealth to poverty, fertility to infertility, life to death, mastery to slavery, peace to war, and beauty to ugliness. And I know that they can sound quite intense, and I'm going to break it down to sound a lot more gentle and to explain it to you in a way that it kind of doesn't feel so overwhelming when you hear those words. The first polarity is connected to the energy number 2. So the journey with this polarity is about learning from your mistakes and becoming wise in the process. It is asking you to turn your mistakes into your strengths. It's asking you to turn what you might be perceiving as failures into wisdom, into learning opportunities. Therefore, it's not about looking at this as I've made mistakes, I'm a failure, but instead becoming resilient enough to say, how can I learn from this perceived error? What can I learn from it? Can I see it from another angle? And that's where the idea of perspective and objective comes in. Could be to do with relationships. You might keep meeting the same kind of person that you're in a romantic relationship with, and they might keep letting you down in a certain way, and it's asking, what can you learn from this? What can you take away from this? How can you improve it for the next time that you find a relationship? The next polarity is wealth to poverty, and this is connected to the energy 3, and this is all about your self-worth relating to wealth. So how much you value yourself in a non-egotistical way will be reflected on the outside around you. So the more you value yourself, the wealthier you will become, and therefore the more generous you can become because you have that wealth, and it just keeps going. So you might be somebody who's financially stable. Instead of having fluctuations of wealth, quite steady, a steady income stream perhaps, steady outgoings, you've really got your bills sorted, somebody who's quite good with their finances. But it's anything where you can have a wealth of something going on as opposed to that lack of. The third polarity is connected to the energy 4, and that is fertility to infertility. And this is all to do with trust, abundance, and gratitude. And once again, your inner fertility will reflect with your outer fertility. So this is very much about trusting the flow of life and weathering the droughts and then flowing with the harvests and reaping the crops and the rewards. And this trust could quite literally be a farmer, agriculturer, or a gardener, somebody who has to trust that the seeds they've planted will grow and germinate and flourish. But of course, this would also be related to businesses, relationships, and work environment. It's asking you to have a lot of trust in the cycles of life and recognizing things will ebb and flow, and you just have to go with that and weather that and be grateful when you have the abundance and just trust that it will come back to you when you're going through a more difficult period. The next polarity is connected to the energy 11, and this polarity is life to death. But sometimes I will refer to that as life to loss, because loss can be both tangible and intangible, and death is very much connected to loss. I remember I used to watch a film, and one of the quotes from it was, "Bread molds, trends fade, people die." And that's very much the truth of this polarity. It's saying to you, that's natural. The cycle of life and death is natural, and it's about coming to terms with that and to focus on and recognize where the life has come into your life. So the next polarity is connected to the energy 17, and this is mastery to slavery. And in all areas of all of our lives, we will experience some kind of subtle form of this, which could just be in terms of a teacher and a student, or a boss and an employee. This polarity is asking you to balance your position in society so that you are not over-dominant, but also not too submissive either. Essentially, you've balanced your inner master. The next polarity we have is connected to the number 20, and this is polarity peace to war. This polarity is asking you to find inner and outer peace, so of course there will be a journey through which you must go in order to find that. It could even be somebody, for example, who is a professional boxer, and therefore they know when there's a time for action, and outside of that space there's only space for peace. And now we come to our final polarity, which is the energy 22, and this polarity for the 22 is beauty to ugliness, but it could also be referred to as light to dark. Essentially, this polarity is asking you to recognize the illusion of ugliness, because in truth all that exists is beauty, and to come from that space. So as I say, it's somebody who's very wise and will recognize that all that exists is beauty and the truth of the universe. So this isn't about denial of the shadow or the darkness or the ugliness experienced. It's about recognizing that it's part of the whole that we are here to experience, and looking and focusing on the beauty and sharing that with others. So now we've been through all 7 of the polarities in the Soul Plan. So if you have had a Soul Plan reading and you do have polarities in your chart, I hope this helps you understand them a bit more and breaks them down so they are slightly less intense than they may have perhaps first sounded, and hopefully you're kind of beginning to understand how you can turn them into a strength now. If I've just piqued your interest and you're thinking, actually I really connect with one of them, but I've never had my Soul Plan read, or I have had my Soul Plan read, but I don't have that in my chart, well, not to worry, because all of the 22 energies are within and around us, as that creation theory from the Sefer Yetzirah asserts, but at the same time, the polarities that I've explained are actually around us all the time. Everybody will experience loss, everybody will go through a subtle form of mastery to slavery, everybody will experience and witness beauty and ugliness, or lightness and darkness in the world. Everybody will have an experience to do with conflict and peace, and everybody will make a mistake and learn from it and become wise. So they are around us at all times, and that's why it's really important to know them and recognize them and work with them. My next video is going to be focused on a meditation purely around the polarities, so you're not going to want to miss that one. After I've given you all this information, you can then use the meditation in order to help release anything that may be holding you back from turning them into a strength for you personally. So I look forward to seeing you for that one. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it's been really helpful for you as a resource and an understanding of how to turn any polarities you may have into strengths. And if you've resonated with anything I've talked about today, please let me know either with a like or with a comment below so we can connect. Thank you so much for watching.